the other people have a chance to catch up. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today to talk about a brand new tool that we're coming out with. This, I have to say, is a really exciting time here at Leopard. We are doing some really cool things. We're doing things that have never been done before. We're really sort of stretching our boundaries, and this little suite of reports, the BI suite, really is a testament to that. It is amazing. And when people look at it, they're like, that is amazing. We're like, yes, we know. We work so hard. So I'm going to share my screen and go over the new tool. So it's a new tool in our BI suite. This one is a recruiting connection tool. But before I show it, I'll just sort of give you a little introduction about what it is, how we did it, and how we did all three connection tool reports, because now there's three of them. So, you know, we all know that connections are important, right? Connections are what we all live by. We can leverage them for business opportunities. We can leverage them for recruitment purposes. But what we're really looking for are meaningful connections. And what we have here are meaningful connections that can be traced through our data. So there are lots of services out there, or several services out there, that offer, connections. But the real question is, are those connections actually meaningful? I know I'm connected to people in networks that I've never met in my life. That's not a meaningful connection. So what we're trying to do is actually find connections that are true connections. And then that way, that'll be a meaningful resource for you. And we decided before we built this to just sort of evaluate all the different connection points that we might be able to deliver and how we might score those points. And then what we ended up with is a relational tool, but this one comes fully loaded with data. And the first thing we had to do was just kind of throw out the rule book of everything that we've done before. And, we're a company that's been around for 20 years. We had to rebuild our entire back end. And we also had to marry two different databases. That was our Leopard List, our law firm attorneys, and our in-house attorneys were housed in two different databases. Now they've been all merged into one. So we could really look for all different types of meaningful connections. So there are different connection strengths, and all of these connection strengths have a different point system. And then the point systems all add up to what score is going to be attributed to that connection. So we look at law school. Did they graduate in the same year, or were they a year behind, a year above? At their prior company, who did they work with? And were they in the same practice area? Were they in the same location? How long did they work at that company? How many overlapping years did they have together? We can look at all of that because we have all of that data. Then we calculate all of those scores together, and then we come with our final score. And those scores are going to be a low connection, medium connection, or a high connection point. When you log in to Leopard today and you go to your product, the BI suite, you're going to see a brand new menu. We sort of reordered the menu to make a little more sense, because now we have three different connection reports, right? And we put the alumni tracker at the top, so you can quickly go in and look and find what you're looking for. But we're going to start today talking about the first report that we wrote, and that is the attorney connection report. So this was the very first one. This was the hardest one to do because we had to figure out absolutely everything from scratch. And what we wanted to do was develop a business development tool for attorneys and look to see who they might be connected to, or who we could weave a connection with to reach an attorney in our in-house database. So in our, this is what the search looks like. So this is looking at the connection points of a single attorney into a corporation in our in-house database. When we first started it, there were way too many connections. There were connections out the wazoo. So we had to sort through the connections and say, well, that one's not as meaningful. That one's not as good. This is good. We're going to hold that. This is pretty good. We'll hold that too. So we limited what the connection points were, but then we also had to slice and dice it by industry because there were just way too many connections to show. So now you go in and you select an attorney name. Or if you want, you can actually select an entire firm and you can bring up everybody at that firm and look, by industry, company by company, what connections those people have. You can then select that attorney and then get all of the details. But you can also just put in a single attorney name. You can put in a single corporation name and say, Anne, do you have any connections at Apple? And it will go in and find all those connections. Or you can just pick a big umbrella. Do you have any connections in tech? Do you have any connections in the financial industry? Then once you select that, it's going to look and show you all these different things. First, it's going to look at past experience. It's going to look at connection strength, low, medium, high. It's going to look at corporations that there could be connections with in the in-house database. And then there's also a connection depth, right? So the first level connection is that the attorney that you're searching for has a direct connection to someone in the in-house database. That is a first level connection. Second level connection is if the user needs one more person to make that connection. So then it might say, Anne, you worked with Bob, who went to school with Joe, who's working at Apple. And then that's how that connection would be made. So when the results come back, you are given a grid. On the grid, you're able to manipulate it. You can drop out schools, you can drop out past experience, you can just look at highs, you can look at first level, second level, you can do whatever you want. And if you need to, you can just click a button to pull everything all back for you. But it's going to show you how many connections she has within this whole industry list, right? So it's going to show you how they're connected. And it's going to show you just the whole story to get into this corporation. And here's who you're trying to reach in that corporation. So when you do a rollover of any name, it's going to tell you Anne works with Craig. Craig and Hutch worked in the corporate practice area in Cooley in Palo Alto between 2009 and 2012. That's not the firm she's at now. This is all past experience. This is back in the past. But that is her pathway to get to that person in that in-house company. The second report, after we wrote the first report and we were so excited and we showed it to law firms and they said, wow, this is great. This is great that you can do that for an attorney. But you know what would really be great? And that's if we could see that on a firm-wide basis. So we said, okay, we can do that. So then we went and built the firm-wide connection report. So this is, you can just think of the connection report we just saw, but kind of on steroids, right? So now you can drop in a firm and you don't even have to select an industry or corporation. You can just say, explore all connections, show me everybody I'm connected to. Or you can start to narrow it down and it's just going to show the firm. It's going to show all the corporations. It's going to show how many connections you have within that corporation. And then when you click, when you do a rollover, it's going to, well, actually you have to drill down. So you pick a corporation, right? So in this corporation, these are the people at your firm who have connections into Bank of America. And when you do the rollover, it's going to show you exactly how they are connected. And you can decide who at your firm would be the best person to reach out to that in-house attorney and start to get that business. You can sort all of these columns. I just want to see all the highs. I just want to see all the mediums. When you see a law school, it means that connection is through a law school. If you see a law firm name, it means that's through a past experience. And you can drop out any of these that you want. Again, you can just look at high, medium, low, and then you can start to see who might be the best person to go try and get that business. So this is the firm-wide connection report. Then everyone said, well, this is great. But what about a recruiting connection report? So we know who knows people at our firm and people at our firm that might be able to reach out to do some sort of soft outreach to that attorney. And we said, okay, we can do that. So
Sensing a trend here, right?
yeah, there's a trend. Yeah. We're very responsive to our customers' needs and requests.
Yeah.
So we built the recruiting connection report. Now here, this one has a little sort of a special twist from the others. So here in my connection report, I put my firm in, or you can put a competitor's firm in, or you could put any firm in there you want. And then I dropped in an attorney name because I was interested in this attorney. And it tells me that I have 3 connections to this attorney. So I click on that attorney and I can see who they are, right? I clicked on that little number 3. Here's my 3 medium connections. How are they connected? They work together at White & Case. They worked at these other firms together. And that's how that connection is built. And I can reach that person. But we knew the next question was going to be, well, one by one, that's kind of, that's very time consuming. Isn't there a better way to do it? And we said, yep, there is. So now, instead of going one by one, you can actually drop in a worksheet. And a worksheet is a collection of attorneys that you have put together in our Leopard List product. How do you do that? It is really easy. You go into the Leopard List, you put in all the criteria that you're looking for, you select the attorneys, you click add and say add to worksheet. You then create a worksheet that goes into this worksheet folder. You can name it anything you want. These worksheets are both public and private. You can share it with people, within your firm or within your recruiting shop. You can share all of those. You can edit them. You can delete them. You can do whatever you want. They're a collection of IDs, right? So these are the worksheets that are going to be displayed when you're in this product. So you put it in your firm and you say, oh, I have a worksheet of, 70 people that do corporate M&A. I want to go in here and see who all we have connections with, right? So now you can look at this list. You can see high, medium, low connections, but you also see what you didn't see in the other reports. You also see probability of move that's coming over from the Leopard List. That is what we have been watching data for a very long time. So these attorneys share characteristics with people that moved. So someone that has a very high probability of move says there have been lots of people at this stage in their career, in this practice area, in this city, all that stuff that moved. So you can just sort that by probability of move if you want, then sort it to see, who has the highest connections and start working that way. So it's a really nice tool to add to the product. Then again, you drill down on that attorney that you're trying to reach out to, and you can see who in your firm might know this person the best, right? Who in your firm might have the best relationship with this person to call them and say, hey, I've been working at my firm for quite a while now. It's a really great firm. Would you be interested in having somebody giving you a call and, asking, if you might like to come over? From a legal recruiter standpoint, this could also be a great reason to convince someone to move to a firm, right? You have a lot of connections within this firm. There are people that you worked with. There are people that you went to law school with. It should be an easy move for you because you're going to have a soft landing over there. So there's several different ways you can use that data. Those are just 2 of those ways, but this is going to make that connection for you. So again, you go into the Leopard List, you put in all the criteria you want, you build that list, then you come into this report and you see who you have connections with. Or if there's somebody you really want, you can go see if anybody in your firm knows them. And then they could sort of pave the way, for someone to give them that call. And that would sort of increase their likelihood of coming to join the firm. So that's 3 reports. That's our attorney connection report that's used for business development. We have the firm-wide business development tool that lets you see everybody in your firm, right? And what good contacts they have to in-house people so they can start developing that business. We do know that people are also using it to see what attorneys have high connections in businesses that they want to get into. And that might be someone that they want to go after to see if they might want to join their firm. There's lots of great intel that you can get by looking at these connections and seeing, seeing what benefit all of those connections can have for you. As for business development, I gotta say, we talked to a couple of people that left a top 200 firm a couple of months ago, and they had left that firm and they had opened a recruiting shop. And the first thing they said when they saw that attorney connection tool was, wow, if we'd had this tool when we were at our law firm, we might not have left. And that meant that really would have helped them get the business that they needed to stay at that firm and be successful at that firm. So this can be a tool that can help law firms. It can help legal recruiters. You all can go in here and find out, the best way this tool might work for you. But it's also a great way to make a soft landing for someone that might join your firm if they know a lot of people there, went to the same law school, perhaps worked in a previous firm together. It's not going to be such a cold open when they move over there. They're going to have people that they know. So that's a really great tool. And right now, we know convincing those people to move is getting harder and harder. So all the quivers that you can put back there are really important right now.
100%.
And speaking of that, I just want everybody to know, we've been having a lot of really great webinars this year, really helpful. We've got lots of guests that come on and share really valuable information. So we want to make sure that you all know about the December 7th webinar. We're going to be looking at what has happened, trying to predict what we think will happen in 2022. We've got some really great guests on our panel. So I hope that you will come and join us, and I think you can learn a lot. There's also a lot of webinars you can go in and watch at your leisure if you've missed any of these. And some of these I would say I wouldn't miss, because some of the guests had some really amazing insights that I think could be helpful to you. So just kind of watch our event page and make sure you don't miss one. If you did, don't worry, we got you covered. We've got a video you can watch as well.
I just dropped it in the chat as well. So a link to our website where that December 7th webinar is, where you can go on, you can look about it, you can actually register. I think what's interesting about that, is the attorney connection report was essentially, it was an idea, which now we've created 3 different reports based on different ways that you can leverage all the data that we have in there to look at those different relationships. And I think the value, obviously, is that we've been capturing a lot of this information for over 20 years or close to 20 years, right? We have the data on all the law firm attorneys. We have, in-house corporate counsel attorney information that we collect. So there's really nothing that anyone has to upload. There's nothing that anyone has to have to insert. You just basically get in there and you can start making those connections. And with the fact that we update it so often as we do, connections are changing every day. People are obviously moving quite often, as everyone knows. And we had recently spoken with a client that right now is there's an AmLaw 200 firm, and they're using our product to for recruiting, just like everyone else, or just like a large number of folks are. But they're looking to utilize as many ways to find the individuals that they need to join their firm, and they're looking for all the different resources and tools that are out there to compete and grow and retain their own attorneys. So there's folks out there that are leveraging this type of research in a kind of outside the box type way, and I think that's where it's a lot of value. And for the recruiters out there that are helping law firms, this is a great way to leverage a lot of the relationships you have with your candidates and the firms. To again come in from a consultative way and present yourself more as a thought leader and someone with value to either as you're having those conversations with your candidates or with your law firms, coming in from a little bit of a different direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is incredibly important right now to differentiate yourself from other people out there doing that same job.
So we, again, we welcome feedback. We're getting, obviously everyone's gearing up for 2022 right now. This is a valuable time to take advantage of certain resources and take advantage of what we could provide and support. Reach out to us. Let us, if you have any questions while using the tools, we're happy to help, and we're happy to provide the guidance and the support you need to get yourselves off and running for 2022.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. And
Right.
remember, it's live right now. So if you have the BI suite, you can go and log in and give it a whirl right now. It's ready to go.
All right. No questions from anyone, but if anyone has any questions, just reach out to us. You can reach us at support@leopardsolutions.com. You can also reach out to Laura and myself. Laura is at leopardsolutions.com, and I'm at phil@leopardsolutions.com. So we do have a last minute question here. Yeah. Laura, do you want to take that one, or how do you want to do that?
Well, I think there's a number of ways they could use it. One, a recruiter has to convince someone to join a law firm, just like a law firm has to convince them they're the right fit for them. And if they know people already at that law firm, that might help, ease them into that new job. But yes, they can also go in and see who else that person knows here or there, and use that as a business development tool. Yeah, absolutely. Who else do you know?
And we got another question about the link to the older webinar. So I'm going to actually drop our YouTube channel into the chat as well. So a lot of these are located on there. So we always recommend people subscribing to that to be notified as webinars are added to our YouTube channel, and also on our event page, which I'll add to the chat as well, so people can see what's happened and what's upcoming soon. So,
okay,
cool. If there are any other questions, just let us know. Reach out to us. Happy to have some conversations further offline and work with you guys as you gear up for next year.
okay. Thanks
Thanks
everybody.
everyone. All right, have a great day.
Bye.